Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. This is part 2 of my NFL draft preview and predictions show. We're going to go through some gambling stuff. I'm going to give out plays, and at the end of the segment, I'm going to give out 5 picks for the portfolio. All right. Number 1 overall pick, sort of irrelevant. Bryce Young is the heavy favorite at minus 5,000. Will Levis is 12-1. C.J. Stroud's 30-1. Anthony Richardson 75-1. Will Anderson's 200-1. There's no value anywhere there because it's going to be Bryce Young. But maybe Levis, maybe Anthony Richardson, maybe Stroud at 30. But I'd stay away. Number 2 overall pick, Will Anderson's the favorite at plus 175. Will Levis is 2-1. Tyree Wilson's 3-1. CJ's 5-1. Bryce Young is 16-1 in case he drops. Not happening. Jalen Carter's 30-1. Anthony Richardson's 40-1. The fun one would be Anthony Richardson at 40-1. That would just be a lot of fun. But maybe CJ at 5-1. Number 3 overall pick, CJ Stroud's the favorite plus 250. Tyree Wilson's 3-1. Paris Johnson's plus 350. That came out of nowhere. Will Anderson's 5-1. Will Levis is 11-1. Richardson's 16-1. Skoronski's 30. Witherspoon's 40. Bryce is 50. Christian Gonzalez is 60. Will Anderson has value at 5-1 in case the Texans trade down, the Colts trade up to 2. That's where the value resides on Will Anderson. Number 4 overall pick, Will Levis is the favorite, it's plus 190. CJ Stroud's plus 190. Will Levis is the favorite, plus 150. Anthony Richardson's plus 270. Will Anderson's 10-1. Tyree Wilson's 14-1. Jalen Carter's 40-1. Witherspoon's 50. Bryce is 60. Christian Gonzalez is 95-1. The argument would be Texans move down 2 spots and take Will Anderson or Tyree Wilson even at 14-1 or 10-1 respectively. So Tyree Wilson at 14-1 has the value. The case for it is that Colts trade up and take a quarterback of their choice. Cardinals stay at 3 would take Will Anderson, and then Tyree Wilson is 14-1. So there you go. And the Texans take him at 4. Number 5, Jalen Carter's a big favorite at minus 180. Anthony Richardson's 5-1. Will Anderson's plus 650. CJ Stroud's 9-1. Tyree Wilson's 10-1. Will Levis is 19. Christian Gonzalez is 20. Devin Witherspoon's 22. Paris Johnson's 50. Peter Skoronski's 75. And Bryce Young and Hendon Hooker each 100-1. I'm surprised Jalen Carter's such a big favorite to go here. 5, maybe they think the Eagles are training up. But Anthony Richardson at 5-1 is fun. Levis at 19. CJ at 9. But if they choose to stay there and take a defender. Christian Gonzalez at 20-1. Gonzalez was mocked in my mock draft at 5 last time. So that at 20-1 is fun. Number 6 overall pick, Devin Witherspoon's the favorite at minus 150. Jalen Carter's 5-1. Christian Gonzalez is 9-1. Will Anderson's 9-1. Tyree Wilson's 12-1. CJ Stroud 16-1. So is Anthony Richardson. Bijan's 30. Will Levis is 40. Lucas Van Ness is 75 and Bryce is 100. The value pick here would be Will Anderson at 9. The case. Bryce, Levis, Tyree, Stroud, Richardson's your top 5. And Anderson falls to 6. So there you go. And Tyree Wilson at 12-1 has some value too, but the Anderson number at 9 is interesting. Number 7 overall pick, Christian Gonzalez is the favorite at 3-1. Paris Johnson's plus 350. Tyree Wilson's plus 450. Devin Witherspoon's 5-1. CJ's 9-1. Peter Skronsky's 10. Richardson's 12. Jalen Carter's 20. Will Levis is 25. Will Anderson's 30. Darnell Wright's 35-1. Broderick Jones 45-1. Bijan's 50. Jalen Carter 20-1 is interesting. This could be the Eagles' trade-up spot. Or if the CJ stuff is true at 9-1, somebody like Tennessee or Houston comes up to get him. I mean, that would mean Bryce, pass rusher. Colts take Levis. Seahawks take Richardson. Cornerback goes 6. So there you go. So Stroud or Carter for the trade up. Number 8 overall pick, that's the Falcons. Bijan Robinson plus 250, Tyree Wilson plus 450, Christian Gonzalez is 5-1, Nolan Smith is 6, CJ Stroud is 8, Jalen Carter is 12, Lucas Van Ness is 16, Paris Johnson is 20, Peter Skoronski is 25, so is Miles Murphy, Anthony Richardson is 25, Will Levis is 40, Will Anderson's 40. Jalen Carter at 12-1 for the trade up is good value. Lucas Van Ness just for the Falcons to pick outright. 16-1 is fun. Nolan Smith 6-1. But I'd say the value play is Van Ness at 16-1. The number 9 overall pick. Darnell Wright's the favorite at plus 360 to go to the Bears. Skoronski's 380, so is Paris Johnson. Jalen Carter's plus 650. Broderick Jones and Tyree Wilson reach 11-1. Lucas Van Ness is 14. Bijan's 15. Nolan Smith 16. Christian Gonzalez is 18. Smith and Jigba is 20. Richardson is 22. Witherspoon's 25. So is Stroud. The value pick is Nolan Smith at 16-1. That would mean the Raiders and the Lions will both take the corners. It's 3 of the quarterbacks in the top 5. The two top pass rushers going 2nd and 3rd. And then 8th being the Eagles trading up for Carter or another trade up. So I really like the value here for Nolan Smith at 16-1 to go to the Bears at number 9. The number 10 overall pick, Peter Skronsky's the favorite, plus 240. This is the Eagles at 10. Paris Johnson's plus 430, Nolan Smith plus 450, Bijan 6-1, Lucas Van Ness 650, Jalen Carter's 10-1, Broderick Jones 22, so is Christian Gonzalez, Darnell Wright. Also, Tyree Wilson's 22, Devin Witherspoon's 28, so is JSN. 30 is Jody Porter Jr., 34 is Miles Murphy, 40 CJ Stroud, Deontay Banks 40. I'm surprised the other quarterbacks aren't up here. Or at least Levis and Richardson, because one of them could still be on the board for this pick, and they could be another trade-up situation. So the value pick would be that's a hard one. I say Seagun at 22-1 would be the value pick here, whether the Eagles stay there or not. So the top 3 overall picks, exact order. The favorite outcome is Young, Anderson, Wilson at plus 470. But the one that I could see that it wouldn't be completely out of proportion. Young, Wilson, Levis, 27-1. That's a fun one. Player to be a top 5 pick. So Levis minus 1,500, which is insane. Stroud minus 470. Wilson minus 400. Anderson minus 300. Jalen Carter minus 175. Seagon is 16-1 to be a top 5 pick. Anthony Richardson's 10-1. I'm sorry, even money. I read that wrong. So that would be the value play just for him to get picked by the Seahawks. To be a top 10 pick. The one that jumps out to me I would say the player plus money that jumps out to me is JSN at 12-1, potentially. To be a first round pick, the one that jumps to me is Kelee Ringo at plus 210 from a value standpoint. Round 1 specials. Total number of quarterbacks drafted in round 1. The over-under is 4.5. Over is minus 148. Under is plus 112. Under plus 112. Running backs, 1.5. The under is plus 210. That's juicy. That's banking on Gibbs being drafted in round 2 or 3. Probably 2. Tight ends drafted in round 1. The over-under is 2.5. The under is heavily juiced. I stay away. Wide receivers, 3.5. Oh. The over's juiced. I love the over. Defensive backs, 5.5. So it'd be Gonzalez. It would be Witherspoon, Branch, Banks, Ringo, Porter Jr. Yeah, I like that over. Offensive lineman drafted in round 1. Paris, Peter Skoronski, Darnell Wright, Broderick Jones, maybe Antoine Harrison, maybe Osiris Torrance. I'm at 6, so that's a good number, 6.5. Offensive players drafted in round 1 is 16.5. Overs minus 400, unders plus 270. Defensive players drafted in round 1 is 14.5. Oh my goodness. The juice is plus 240 and under minus 150 or 350. So it'd be Carter, Anderson, Wilson, the 2 corners. Nolan Smith, Miles Murphy, Lucas Van Ness, Joey Porter, Deonte Banks, maybe Kelee Ringo. There's some others that could potentially go in round 1 as well. I want to take the over 14.5 case for 15 defensive players. First wide receiver drafted Jackson Smith and Jigba is minus 350. If there's a value play, I'd say Jordan Addison at 16-1. First tight end drafted, I think it's going to be Michael Mayer. First lineman drafted, Paris Johnson's favorite at minus 430. If there's value on anybody, I'd say Broderick Jones at 23-1. First defensive player drafted, Will Anderson's the favorite, minus 160. Tyrese plus 140. If there's value on anybody, maybe Jalen Carter at 14-1. First corner drafted, Witherspoon's the favorite, minus 250. Gonzalez is plus 185, maybe Gonzalez at plus 185. First linebacker drafted, Drew Sanders was the favorite, minus 170. Jack Campbell's plus 250. Trenton Simpson's 5-1. I'd say the value could be on Jack Campbell at 250. Team the draft player, Jackson Smith and Jigba. There's a value play on the board. I'm going to say it is all the teams in the 20s are 29-1. So anybody from Ravens, Seahawks, Giants, Chiefs, Chargers, Cowboys have some value, 29-1. Team the draft, Jahmyr Gibbs. The Eagles are favored plus 550. This was at like 14-1 the other day. Now I'm really mad because I think this kid's meant to be an Eagle. But there's value on anybody that draft Jahmyr Gibbs. I think the Chargers have some value at 16-1. Say they trade up in the second round to get him. Patriots at 20 has some value too. Team to draft Quentin Johnson. The Chargers are a big favorite at plus 170. The value is Minnesota at 20-1. Bijan, Atlanta's favorite plus 60. Philly 6-1. I gave out my pick, the draft Bijan, the other day in portfolio in the regular show. The Bills 30-1 would be my value pick to draft them. But where's the Lions? 14-1. That's value too. Team to draft Hendon Hooker. The Vikings are the favorites at 5-1. Vegas at plus 850 is interesting. I think the value is 16-1 with the Bucks of Tampa Bay. Team to draft Michael Mayer. The Cowboys are favorite plus 420. Green Bay's 5-1. Detroit plus 650. The one with value, I think, is the Seahawks at 16-1. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if they drafted him. Or Jacksonville at 15-1 has some value. Tampa 15-1. There's a lot of these teams that have value with that potential pick. But Jacksonville 15-1 stands out. All right, team draft specials. Position of Ravens first rounder. The cornerback's the favorite at minus 125. Wide receiver plus 170. D-line 6-1. Lineman 15-1. Quarterback 20-1. Running back 29-1. Tight end 75-1. Linebacker 50. Safety 75. Offensive lineman 15-1 is very interesting. Bills first drafted player. D lineman's plus 150, linebacker 3-1, wide receiver plus 390, lineman 460, tight end 11-1, running back 15-1, safety 25-1, cornerback 16-1. For this one, I think there's value on the running back at 15-1. It could be Bijan, it could be Gibbs. Bengals first round. D lineman plus 230, cornerback 250, tight end 3-1, lineman 450, running back 450. Linebacker at 40-1 has some value. Browns first drafted player. One with value is cornerback at 20-1. D line's the favorite, minus 135. Wide receivers 250. Linebackers 8-1. And running back and cornerback and safety are all 20. Tight ends 29. So it's quarterback and lineman. Cowboys tight end plus 175. Lineman. Offensive lineman plus 350. D lineman plus 350. Wide out 5-1. Running back 650. Linebacker 10-1. Corners 25. Safeties 40. Quarterback 100. Running back at 650 somewhat interesting. Maybe they trade up for Bijan. Who knows? Broncos first round pick. Running back's the favorite plus 250. D line 3-1. Cornerback 380. O line 430. Linebacker 750, wideout 9-1. Safety 22-1, tight end 22-1. The tight end at 22-1 is very interesting. The Packers, tight end plus 170, wideout 230, D-line 3-1, O-line 430, cornerback 11-1, safety 40-1, linebacker 50-1. Safety at 40-1 is interesting. The Brian Branch possibility. Jags, lineman minus 140, corner plus 210, tight end 9-1, D-line 14-1, linebacker 61, wide receiver 16-1, safety 22-1. So I would say the values on D-line 14-1. Now O-line's a heavy favorite. The Chiefs, it's a three-way tie at the top. Wide receiver, O-line, D-line at plus 175 each. Running backs 19, tight ends 20, linebacker 40, cornerback 40, safeties 101. The one that interests me a lot is linebacker at 41. Maybe they trade back. Chargers, wide receivers the favorite, minus 135, tight ends plus 210, D-lines plus 750, corners 11-1, running back 19-1, linebacker 30, O-line 30, safety 40. Cornerback 11-1 maybe has some value. Rams, D-line plus 310, O-line plus 390, wideout 5-1, tight end 650, cornerback 750, safety 850. Running back 9-1, linebacker 10-1, quarterback 11-1. Linebacker 10-1 is actually pretty good. Dolphins, O-line plus 250, tight end plus 430, wideout 5-1, D-line 5-1, corner and running back 850 each. Linebackers 9-1, safeties 11-1. I would say maybe a linebacker at 9-1 has some value. Vikings, wide receiver plus 175, corners 2-1, D-lines 4-1, quarterbacks 5-1, linebacker 22-1, so it's all line. Running backs 25-1, safeties 45-1. I would say D-line 4-1 has some value. New England, O-line's 2-1, quarterbacks 3-1, which is crazy. Cornerbacks 4-1, wideout 5-1, D-line 6-1, running back 15-1, tight end 16-1, safety and linebacker 40-1 each. I would say running back at 15-1 in case it's Bijan. Saints, D-line minus 115, O-line plus 430, quarterback 750, tight end 750, running back 11-1, wide receiver 14-1. So is corner and linebackers 25-1. This is one I'm actually willing to lay minus 115. But if there's a trade back and they try to go for another need, can you see it being tight end or wide receiver at 14-1 or 750 respectively? So wide receiver at 14-1 is interesting. Giants first drafted player. Corner and wide receiver each favorite at minus or plus 160. O-line's plus 410. D-line's 12-1. Tight end is 14-1. Running back 16-1. Linebacker 21-1. Safety 30-1. Quarterback 100-1. Linebacker at 21-1 has some value. So does 3-1 if they were to go with Brian Branch. So D-line's valuable at 12-1. So there's a lot of value with the Giants potentially here. So D-line at 12-1 is interesting. Jets. O-line's minus 250, D-line plus 340, tight end plus 650, wideout 15-1, corner and safety are each 60. So the value for the Jets is wide receiver at 15-1 in case Njigba is still on the board and they take him. Pittsburgh. O-line minus 115, corner plus 150, D-line plus 430, wideout 29-1, linebackers 40-1, tight end 50-1, safeties 50, running back 75. Wide receiver 29-1 is very valuable. They could trade down Maybe somebody moves up, they trade down for somebody. All right, the 49ers. O-line's plus 210, D-line's 3-1, so is corner. Safety's plus 850, wideout's 850. Linebackers, 11-1. And tight ends, 23-1. So the value play here is actually wide receiver at 850. I actually do. That wouldn't completely stun me. Tampa. O-line's plus 175, D-line's plus 250, linebackers plus 450, quarterback 7-1, cornerback 7-1, tight end 18-1, running back 19-1, safety 22-1. 22-1 to safety is a good one for Brian Branch. Tight end 18-1 also has value. Quarterback at 7-1 in case they trade up is fun too. But I would say the Brian Branch pick at 22-1. Titans, quarterback's favored minus 175, O-line plus 250, wideout plus 650, D-line 4-1, running back 30-1, cornerback 50-1, tight end and safety each 75-1, linebackers 100-1. I'd say D-line at 14-1 has some value for Tennessee. And then the Commanders, cornerbacks the favorite plus 170, O-line's plus 230, D-line plus 430, quarterback and tight end 9-1, running back 11-1, safety 25-1, linebacker 34-1. D-line at plus 430 is all of a sudden interesting for the Commanders from a value standpoint. Draft position over under. Bijan Robinson over under 12.5. Overs plus 182. Unders minus 250. I kind of like the over at plus 182. Broderick Jones 14.5. Overs minus 250. Unders plus 182. Under could have some value. Dalton Kincaid 24.5. Overs plus 158. Unders minus 215. I love the over on Kincaid. Smith and Jigba, 12.5. Overs minus 360, unders plus 250. I don't see him getting past 12, so I like the under. Joey Porter Jr., over under 19.5. Overs minus 220, unders plus 162. I like that under, plus money. Michael Meyer, over under 21.5. Overs minus 148, unders plus 112. I'll pass. Nolan Smith over under 11.5, overs plus 118, unders minus 158. I'd say over, but I wouldn't bet it. Skoronski over under 10.5, overs minus 130 at 6, unders plus 102. I would go under. Quentin Johnson over under 23.5, minus 114 each way. Under. Zay Flowers over under 19.5, overs minus 140, unders plus 106. I take the over, but I'll pass. Alrighty. So now I'm going to pick 5 things that I'm going to bet on for the draft. All right, so the first one I'm going to do. This doesn't necessarily think it's going to happen, by the way. Now I see some odds moving on the fly. So, number 7 overall pick. Jalen Carter, 20-1. Trade up possibility. I'm going to bet on that. All right. The next one I'm going to do. Kelee Ringo to be a first-round pick. The corner out of Georgia. Plus 210. Next up, I'm going to take a fun one. The Minnesota Vikings to draft Quentin Johnson at 20-1. The fourth pick, I'm going to go under 12.5 for Jackson Smith and Jigba at plus 250. And the last FanDuel pick, I'm going to try to go for one of these longer shot ones. I always like to speculate like the sleeper team that draft a different-ish position. So this is the Brian Branch special. I'm going to take the Jaguars 22-1 to take a safety with their first selection. All right, DraftKings has some interesting ones as well. So I'm going to bet a couple on DraftKings too. So a couple of the numbers are different here. And I'm surprised I'm not seeing Will Levis for 10th in case he falls. Or one of the other quarterbacks fall, like Richardson. Oh, there's Levis, 25-1 to go 10th. There we go. DraftKings has it. I'm going to bet it. A 10th of a unit on it. Because DraftKings has some things that FanDuel doesn't. The college preps for DraftKings. Total ACC players drafted in the first round. Over 3.5 is minus 165. Under is plus 135. Big 10. Over 8.5 is minus 300. Under is plus 240. Big 12. Under is minus 210. Over is plus 170. SEC. First round over is plus 160. Under is minus 200. So the ACC under would be Zay Flowers, one of the Clemson guys. But if Notre Dame counts, that's not fair. Because they're an independent. So, the ACC under is very interesting. Because you take one of the Clemson D linemen, probably Murphy, Zay Flowers, maybe Kalijah Cansey goes in round 1 from Pitt. So, the ACC under is interesting. Big Ten unders plus 240. So it would be Stroud, Paris Johnson, Joey Porter, Skoronski, Maryland corner Banks. So that's 5 from the Big Ten. You also have a couple of others. Witherspoon, let me be 6. Lucas Van Ness would be 7. Smith and Jigba would be 8. Yeah, that under, the Big Ten under is a lot of fun. And what about the Big 12 over? That would be a fun one. So the Big 12 would be Wilson, Texas Tech, which would be nuts to think that he's going to be the first Big 12 player taken. Bijan, Anton Harrison, so that's 3. Quentin Johnson's a lock, I would think, so that's 4. And then Will McDonald, I like the Big 12 over too. And then the SEC over-under is 11.5. Under minus 100, over is plus 160. So let's see if he can get the 12 SEC. So Bryce, Will, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Richardson, Levis, Darnell Wright, Broderick Jones, Branch, so that's 9, yeah. And maybe a Hyatt would be 10. Maybe Cam Smith. But yeah, my favorite one, I kind of like the Big Ten under 8.5 at plus 240. I think that is a really, 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 really interesting one. Very, 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 very interesting. That'd be fun, but I'm going to go with the over for the Big 12 just to play it safe. As my second one. Second quarterback selected, Stroud and Will Levis are minus 110 each. Third quarterback selected, they're each even money. I would say Richardson at 6-1 is very interesting for third quarterback selected. So I'm actually going to pull the trigger on that one. So 2 more left. Draft team specials for DraftKings. This is a good one too. So if I bet one of these, it would probably give away one of my predictions. So Hendon Hooker's team. The pick that has some value is the Raiders at 14-1. Like, I could see that. And another fun one is a second wide receiver selected. But there's not, like, great value on anybody. But I'm going to make a very interesting bet here. So just from looking at all the specials of, like, players selected, and whatnot, I'm thinking about hedging one of my FanDuel bets. But I don't know if I want to do it. So I'm looking at a team that's the draft player. So Smith and Jigba. There's a team that I think has some value on the board. The Titans of Tennessee at 15-1. So I'm going to make that my last official pick from DraftKings to give out. All right, now I'm going to do my bold predictions for every team. All right, the Arizona Cardinals will take a wide receiver in the 3rd round. Houston wide receiver Tank Dell. The Atlanta Falcons will take a cornerback in the 2nd round. Michigan's DJ Turner. The Ravens will take a wide receiver in the 1st round. Yes, I just bet on a different team to take him, but that was on value. I think the Ravens take TCU's Quentin Johnson. Excuse me. Buffalo trades completely out of the 1st round and takes linebacker Drew Sanders from Arkansas in the 2nd round. The Carolina Panthers will take a guard in the 4th round, USC's Andrew Voorhees. The Chicago Bears will draft multiple players that played college in Illinois. Northwestern's Peter Skoronski and Illinois' Sidney Brown. Lineman and safety, respectively. Cincinnati will draft an edge rusher in the 5th round. Let's go with Louisville's Yaya Diaby. The Cleveland Browns will take a wide receiver in the 5th round. Let's go with Liberty's Demario Douglas. The Dallas Cowboys. Michael Mayer is the 1st round selection, and Jerry Jones does a fist bump that is shown on TV. The Denver Broncos. The team trades back multiple times. The Detroit Lions. They take an offensive skill player at 18. The Green Bay Packers trade back to 19 and take Myles Murphy. The Houston Texans trades up to 10 from 12 and takes Malik Willis. The Indianapolis Colts take a cornerback with the 35th pick. South Carolina's Cam Smith. The Jacksonville Jaguars take a tight end in the 3rd round. Michigan's Luke Schoonmaker. The Chiefs will take a corner with their second rounder, Kansas State's Julius Brent. The Raiders take Hendon Hooker in the second round. Yeah, I said it. The Los Angeles Chargers take a guard in the fifth round. Let's go with Clemson's Jordan McFadden. The Rams take a linebacker in the sixth round, Utah's Mohamed Diabate. The Miami Dolphins take Penn State's Sean Clifford in round 7. The Minnesota Vikings take an edge rusher in round 3. Let's go with Clemson's KJ Henry. New England takes a wide receiver in the 4th round, Wake Forest's A.T. Terry. New Orleans takes a tight end in round 2, Georgia's Darrell Washington. The Giants trade up the 20 and take Jordan Addison. The Jets trade back multiple times, trying to regain some capital. Eagles trade up to 8 and takes Jalen Carter. Although I did bet it at 7, because I think 7 had the better value. Pittsburgh takes an interior lineman at 32, and that will be Florida's Osiris Torrance. The San Francisco 49ers trade up multiple times. The Seattle Seahawks take Anthony Richardson at 5. Tennessee takes a tight end in round 6. Let's go with Oklahoma's Braden Willis. And the Commanders take an edge rusher in round 3. Let's go with Auburn's Derek Hall. So there you have it for the 2023 NFL Draft Preview and Prediction Show. And enjoy the draft, everybody.